The year of Sonic. How many times in 2022 did we hear this phrase when discussing the state of the Sonic franchise? After all, we did get Sonic Frontiers, which is one of the fastest selling 3D Sonic games of all time, a revamped version of the classics with Sonic Origins, Sonic Prime, which brought Sonic over to Netflix to reach a whole new audience, and of course Sonic Movie 2, which brought Sonic to the box office, which at the time was the highest earning video game film ever. I gotta say, in 2022 it was a good year for Sonic. So how can you top that? Well, we have 2023, which is the year of Sonic Part 2. There was just as much, if not more, Sonic content in 2023, which really seems to indicate that the franchise has an extremely bright future because we have been eating non-stop. So which year was better, 2022 or 2023? We'll answer that in today's video, so make sure to subscribe to the channel with all notifications and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. So right here, we have a tier list of all the major releases from 2022 and 2023 for the Sonic franchise. The S tier is 4 points, the A tier is 3 points, the B tier is 2 points, C tier is 1 point, D tier is 0. There's several different factors. The impact it had on the franchise, how good it was is one of them. The popularity, how it advanced Sonic forward. It won't be so simple, but it will be in-depth and it will be fun. So let's go ahead and get into this. The story of the year of Sonic in 2022 starts in 2020, actually. The first Sonic movie generated $306 million in the box office and was a smashing success that surpassed pretty much everyone's expectations. It was almost an unmitigated disaster considering the backlash for the original movie Sonic design, but once it was changed to a more faithful version of the character, the fate of the movie and maybe even the fate of the franchise had changed forever. I myself had rekindled my interest in the franchise when the first movie dropped. We also got an announcement finally that Netflix announced Sonic Prime, which was going to be a 3D animated series for Sonic the Hedgehog. It seemed like almost multiple times a week there were new leaks for the upcoming open world game Sonic Rangers. The 4chan leak videos were booming, but little was known about the next Sonic game. The funniest thing was there actually was an accurate 4chan leak that predicted basically everything that was going to be in Sonic Frontiers, which was actually called Sonic Rangers, which we discovered was actually the codename for the game. After tons of speculation, it was finally revealed in this very brief teaser that we were going to get a brand new 3D Sonic game. And for the next year and change, this is basically all we had. It seemed like the leaks were true. An open world Sonic game was coming. Also, Sonic Origins was also revealed at the Sonic Central, so we knew that 2 games were coming in 2022. A movie was coming, but there was still more. First game we got was Sonic Colors Ultimate. And how did that release go? Well, it went something like this. So while Sonic Colors Ultimate was actually a disaster for the Sonic franchise, that did not stop people's thirst for more Sonic content. Didn't know much about 2022, but the Game Awards finally revealed everything. The announced trailer for Sonic Frontiers was revealed at the Game Awards, and it had a lot of people excited, but we were still skeptical because we had not seen gameplay. We also got a trailer for Sonic Movie 2 as well, which was probably the main focus for Sega in terms of marketing. But Frontiers was coming because that was when the game name was revealed. So we were set. 2022 was going to be the year of Sonic. And how did that year play out? Well, the first couple months, it was radio silent. It was leak video after leak video, and we got next to nothing until Sonic Movie 2 finally came out. Well, actually, that was a lie. Sonic Movie 3 and a Knuckles spin-off series, which hasn't come out yet. But the second movie came out, and it was a smashing success. Although the original year of Sonic was radio silent, $405 million in the box office beat the previous movie's record. This was the #1 video game film of all time. We're gonna put this in the S tier. There was a lot of positive buzz in the community, and it seemed like no one was really upset about what we got. We got Super Sonic on the big screen, we got an actual plot with new characters, and best of all, we got Shadow the Hedgehog revealed. In the post-credit scene, Sonic was officially back, and he came back with a bang, the biggest project of them all. We're currently in April 2022, but there are 8 more months and 3 more Sonic projects to release. A surprise announcement for a Roblox officially licensed Sonic game called Sonic Speed Simulator was officially released. This is a game that stretched well beyond the actual Sonic community, and this game quickly rose to become one of the most popular games on Roblox. This was an open world Sonic game that was going to feature multiplayer with racing, chow, multiple playable characters, which is something that was new to the Sonic franchise at the time. And for a short period of time, this game took the Sonic community, but also the internet by storm. To put this into perspective, Sonic Speed Simulator actually reached a milestone of 286,000 peak concurrent users. It was an absolute cultural phenomenon. Everyone played Sonic Speed Simulator, and the amount of attention attention that this game brought to the franchise was huge, because not only did Sonic fans get a game to scratch that itch for the upcoming Sonic Frontiers game, the Roblox community, a lot of people were introduced to Sonic for the first time that only a few games on the Roblox platform can say that they've been able to attain, which is why I know I'm biased, but I'm actually going to throw SSS into the S tier. I know it didn't maintain that popularity, but it's been a pretty consistent heavy hitter for the franchise, and it's still among some of the most popular YouTube content for Sonic. But while Sonic Speed Simulator had a huge impact and was an absolute cultural phenomenon, but what Sonic fans really wanted was to finally get information on the open world Sonic game that has been getting 4chan leaks for almost the past 2 years, Sonic Frontiers. We finally got the world reveal gameplay, and it was an absolute disaster. The Sonic community was in shambles, and people were absolutely roasting this game. This was supposed to be the year of Sonic, but it was looking like business as usual for Sega. But we'll come back to Sonic Frontiers, because Sonic Origins, the game that we basically had zero info on, and there was rumors of troubled development, finally released a couple weeks later, and it was also another, I don't know if I would call it a disaster, but the Sonic community was extremely split on this game, as many people were not happy with this game due to the quality and some of the content that was added to the game, or lack thereof. There were some bugs with the game, some gameplay issues as well, so for that reason, we're going to put the original vanilla Sonic Origins in the C tier. Personally, didn't hate the game, but this is also kind of like a collection of what the community thinks as well. After the debacle of the Sonic Frontiers pre-release footage, as well as Sonic Origins not really living up to fans' expectations, a lot of people were becoming concerned with the state of the games for the Sonic franchise. However, in the following months, we received a lot more gameplay for Sonic Frontiers, and it was starting to look pretty decent, actually. Now, we weren't looking at the final product, but a lot of concerns that people have with the game were becoming less and less prevalent with each new gameplay footage release. Fast forward to November 8th, 2022, and it was official. Sonic Frontiers had officially released after all the hype and build-up. It was officially time to see what the hype was all about. The game was ultimately met with mixed reception, receiving a 71 on Metacritic, but an 8.1 user score, which would have been higher if it didn't get review bombed. But it beat out the previous mainline Sonic game. It beat out the game that came before that one, and the game that came before that one. Despite the mixed reception from the critics, there's no denying that the Sonic fan base, for the most part, loved Sonic Frontiers and thought it was a step in the right direction. As of May 2023, it was stated that Sonic Frontiers is actually the fastest selling 3D Sonic game of all time. So Sega knows that it's important to invest into the Sonic franchise. Most people would see Sonic Frontiers as an absolute W for the franchise that was extremely desperate for one. So while you could almost put it in the A tier because this game did not get like an 80 plus on Metacritic and still was mixed, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the S tier because of the overall impact it had for the franchise. Last but not least, Sonic Prime was released later on that year. The funniest part is it actually premiered in Roblox Sonic Speed Simulator, so that was like a big W for SSS, and I think it did a pretty good job of setting out what it was supposed to do. The purpose of the show was to expand the Sonic IP to a whole new audience on Netflix, and the show ended up being pretty successful. I think on launch, it was ranked as one of the top shows, but there was a huge split in the Sonic community over this show. A lot of people think that Prime Sonic was an extremely immature and childish version of the character, and due to the fact that the show was confirmed to be canon by the show writers as well as Ian Flynn and Sega, not everyone was on board with Sonic Prime. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the B tier for 2022 Year of Sonic because it wasn't a runaway success. In my personal tier list, it might deserve to be a little bit higher. I can't ignore how split the Sonic community is on it. So we are now heading into 2023 with a lot of uncertainty for the future of the Sonic franchise, but we knew more Sonic Prime was on the way, and also a 2023 content roadmap was revealed for Sonic Frontiers, which included playable characters and a brand new story. The first 2023 release for Sonic was actually a remake for Sonic Speed Simulator. Every map in the game was revamped. They added a daily questing system to give you daily activities to do, completely revamped the racing system to actually give it some purpose. They added character progression, pet progression, and basically every character that people have been begging for. It gave a really big spike to the dwindling player count of the game, but here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and throw Sonic Speed Simulator Reborn into the A tier due to the fact that it did not have as great of an impact as the original release of the game did. And it's almost unrealistic to expect that a Roblox game could ever reach that peak ever again. It still goes into the A tier for me. The next set of major content updates that we got for Sonic Frontiers were the Update 1 and 2 content patches. Now, these patches added a significant amount of content to the game. Update 1 added a bunch of challenges. Update 2 was an even bigger update, which added the birthday stuff, the action chain challenges, which are really cool and kind of set a formula for the open zone, and it also added the most important move added to Sonic Frontiers, which was the spin dash. The spin dash makes Sonic Frontiers, in my opinion, an S tier game because the movement is so fun with this move. New Game Plus was also added, new Coco challenges. While we're in in the midst of all this Sonic Frontiers updates, we got a big announcement that came out of nowhere. A 2D Sonic game was officially revealed. For many years, we were talking about a modern Sonic game, but it actually ended up being a classic Sonic game. Sonic Superstars looked to be a return to form. This announcement took all of us by storm, and it added a bunch of new features to the game, such as Emerald power-ups. The first time ever in the series, we also got 4-player couch co-op. The game looked pretty good. There was no way that this game was going to fail. Fast forward a couple months later, we got basically next to no news on the game. It eventually released. The game ended up with an 8.8 score with a slightly better Metacritic score than Sonic Frontiers, which was actually extremely surprising. The community was also pretty split on the game as well. What was supposed to be a slam dunk home run release that everyone was going to love may have underwhelmed just a little bit. And why is this? Well, first and foremost, a lot of people hated how long the boss fights dragged on for in the game. Some of the final bosses in the game were amongst the worst in the series. The Emerald power-ups were just okay. And the biggest offense of them all is that the game ran for a $60 price tag despite only being like a couple hours. The new character added to the game had their own playable story, but it ended up becoming a huge difficulty spike towards the end, which left a lot to be desired. And some of the later stages in the game, some people didn't like either. And her final boss was really bad. So while Sonic Superstars was a good game, and I enjoyed the game, and most people did as well, like it scored higher than Sonic Frontiers, a lot of people would say that it did not reach the heights of Frontiers. Superstars had lower lows, but Frontiers had much higher highs. The game also fell a little bit short of Sega's sales expectations, but this should change after the holiday season. But Sonic Superstars was not going to be the perfect game that we expected it to be, despite the fact that it is a good game. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Sonic Superstars in the B tier, just because it feels like it was somewhat of a missed opportunity. It also did not have the same impact that Sonic Frontiers did, but a good Sonic game is definitely good impact. To backtrack a little bit, we also did get Sonic Origins Plus, which, you know, it was that forgettable. And this game almost kind of felt like a scam. It didn't really add much. It added Amy Rose as a playable character, Knuckles playable in Sonic CD, and also added the Game Gear titles. It also led to a physical release, which, by the way, Sonic Origins Plus is the same price as the base game, unless you already purchased Sonic Origins. Then you got to cough up $10 for the DLC. So it felt kind of shady and a bit like a scam. So Sonic Origins Plus is technically more content than Sonic Origins. You could almost throw it in the B tier, but I'm going to go ahead and put Origins Plus at the C tier. It really had no impact. In between Superstars and Origins Plus, we actually got Sonic Prime Season 2. In my opinion, Sonic Prime Season 2 was actually a vast improvement over Season 1. IGN gave Sonic Prime Season 2 a 9 out of 10. We got an expanded role for Shadow the Hedgehog in the show, who is definitely like one of the biggest highlights. And we also got a really cool plot twist with 9 becoming the final villain. So Sonic Prime Season 2 is actually a pretty big W. So while Sonic Prime isn't universally loved by the franchise, again, I think it did what it sets out to do really well, which is expand the Sonic IP. And it's also better than Season 1, so I'm going to put Sonic Prime Season 2 in the A tier. Back to Sonic Frontiers DLC. So Sonic Frontiers The Final Horizon was the final patch of Sonic Frontiers. Everyone knows that the ending of the game was kind of mid, like the original ending kind of sucked. But we got the crazy teaser trailer which shows Super Sonic and CGI looking super clean with all the other characters that were playable. But everything changed when Super Sonic did this and his eyes turned blue. We finally got news about the release date for Sonic Frontiers The Final Horizon, which was set to rewrite the mid-trash ending of the original game. And while The Final Horizon itself was a little bit mixed due to the immense difficulty spike and how weird some of the playable characters were in the game, but overall, I really enjoyed the update. And most importantly, the new ending of the game completely corrected the wrongs of the original ending. That Super Sonic boss fight at the end, just like, that was just peak fiction. But when you package all 3 of the content updates for Sonic Frontiers, I'm going to go ahead and throw that into the S tier. I'm talking update 1, 2, and 3. All this combined, plus fixing the ending of the original Frontiers, puts that firmly in the S tier for me. And just when you thought the Sonic Mania, pun intended, was over, we got another Sonic project announced at the tail end of 2023, and it released in December. Sonic Dream Team was released for Apple Arcade, and this game kind of threw a lot of people off. I wouldn't say it's a complete surprise because Sega did have a job listing back in 2022 for this game, so we knew Hardlight was cooking up something, but this game looked like it had everything that 3D Sonic fans wanted. Yes, this was a mobile game for Apple Arcade, but make no mistake, this was a full-blown 3D Sonic game with basically no 2D sections whatsoever for the first time since Sonic 06. It had everything that you could want. Multiple playable characters, open-ended level design with multiple different branching paths, voice acting, cutscenes. This game was almost too good to be true. It was announced that this game was going to be an Apple Arcade exclusive, which left out a lot of people in the Sonic fan base. So maybe the game wasn't able to have as much impact as it wanted to, but the game was honestly great. It actually reviewed higher than Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Super superstars as of the day I'm recording this video. After all these years, getting consistently good Sonic games is something to behold. I'm gonna go ahead and put Sonic Dream Team in the A tier. It was an incredible game, but I think the score could have reviewed just slightly higher. And also, I feel like the impact of the game is not as significant as the other Sonic games, but it's still up there as a really important project. So which year of Sonic was the year of Sonic? 2022 or 2023? Well, let's tally up the points. For 2022, we have Sonic Movie 2 is S tier, that's 4 points. SSS is S tier, that's another 4 points. Frontiers is S tier, that's another 4 points. Sonic Prime Season 1 gets 2 points, and Sonic Origins adds 1 point, giving 2022 a total of 15 points. Frontiers DLC is 4 points. SSS Reborn, Prime Season 2, and Dream Team combined for 9 points, putting 2023 at 13 points. Superstars adds 2 points to that total, making it 15. And Sonic Origins Plus, it could almost be a D tier and get 0 points. But we're going to keep it tied with Origins to give 2023 the slight edge by 1 point to be the true year of Sonic. 2022 definitely had higher highs, but 23 produced more content and a lot of high quality content. So it's really up in the air. It's very close. But let me know what you think down below in the comments.